Okay, here we go. Ready or not, here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Hey girl, welcome back to Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar Show. So this is going to be officially what I'm going to call officially our first YouTube episode. That's right. And I know we've put some out there, I think, but nothing was official. But I'm going to call this my first, and let's see what happens. We're just going to go with the flow here. Something so funny. Look, I don't even know how or what or why. I just need to say it. It's July. This episode is going to drop on what? July 15th. We're going to be midway through July when today, on this day that I'm recording, I realized it's July 11th. And guess what I realized, girl? I just realized that the second year, like I didn't even celebrate year 2. We've been 2 years doing the Rock That Fitness podcast together. It's been 2 years as of the 4th of July. I mean, come on. How do I miss this stuff? I don't even know. The same thing happened to me, to us. I would just say us because y'all, this is a team effort. Rock That Fitness, we celebrated year 4. Is it 4? Year 4, yes. Yes, the birthday, the anniversary of Rock That Fitness in March. Just February, I should say, February. And it wasn't until well after, I'm like, wow, we didn't even celebrate. What is going on with me? I'm going to have to do like a retro celebration somehow. But yeah, I'm excited because I've been doing the podcast with y'all, with us. We've all been doing this together now it's been 2 years, officially, on July the 4th, 2024. So I especially want to thank you for sticking around, for being so awesome and being dedicated listeners. And I can't thank you enough. I mean, yeah, what else is there to say? You know, been doing this week after week for 2 years now. This is pretty darn exciting. So anyway, I want to dive into our podcast episode today. Today, I'm going to be talking all about hormones. And yeah, not getting into the nitty gritty and the details, nothing like that. I'm not here to be an expert in this area. Yes, I am a nurse by trade. Y'all know this. I am a personal trainer, nutrition coach, strength coach, mindset coach, if you will, but I am not an expert in hormones. Okay. But I do know enough to be dangerous. I know enough. And I'm excited to share with you what I do know, and I want to pass on the knowledge as always. So, I had a great time. Recording this episode. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. All right, so that is kind of like where I would pause. I'm doing this on a video and I'm doing it on a recording. So we're doing this together, and I even have my notes up here. So I'm trying my best. I experimented last week, I think, doing the camera thing while I was doing my podcasting. So you're just going to have to bear with me. This is the real deal. I'm keeping it real as always. And right now I've got my notes here up on my computer, doing my best to look at the camera at the same time that I'm doing the podcast episode. So we're doing fun. This is kind of like juggling. Like I've got right now on my computer, I've got audio recording right now. I've got my notes up. I've got my microphone on for the camera, and I got the camera on. Like, come on, give me a break. I'm not even chewing gum, so there's that. Yeah, I'm not, I'm always chewing the gum, but I'm not chewing gum during my podcasting. So, all right, girl, listen up. This is what we're going to do. I am going to, first of all, I'm going to go over some just basic understanding of hormones. And when I say hormones, here's an interesting fact, okay? Most people think when we talk about hormones, they're thinking sex hormones. But what you don't realize, what a lot of people don't realize, is that we have all kinds of hormones that trigger certain bodily functions, bodily things that our body does for us, all kinds. And it's not just in the area of our gender and our sex hormones having to do with sexuality and that kind of thing. It's not just that. Like, we've got all kinds of hormones. So I just want you to understand that what I'm going to talk about today are sex hormones. I'm going to go into basically for women, I'm going to talk about hormones, the hormones that we as women have most, oh my God, let me back up. Let me back it up. First of all, I want to say that sex hormones are not either male or female in gender, all right? What we all need to understand is that both men and women have the sex hormones. We just have them in varying amounts, okay? So don't be thinking, only men have testosterone, only women have estrogen. No, because men and women, we have all of the hormones. We just have them in varying amounts, I guess is a way to say it. So these hormones, they play critical roles in various bodily functions, like I said, regardless of gender. Okay. I'm looking at my notes. Where are we here? Where do we start? So what I want to do is I want to go over each of the main sex hormones and just kind of briefly go through them. I want to go through them and talk about, and I'm going to be talking specifically, obviously, in regards to women and those of us, especially, of course, in menopause or going through menopause. And I'll briefly talk about that. But what I want to do is I want to go through each of the sex hormones. I'm going to talk about what the benefits of each of them are, what happens when we have a decrease in them, and what the importance is of what happens, what's the importance of replacing them, because this is part of the story that I'm going to tell you. After I go through all of these, I'm going to talk about my own personal journey of menopause and all of that. But before I do that, because I'm excited about some things I've learned that I want to share with you, but before I do that, I'm going to go through all these things having to do with sex hormones. Okay, so let's get back to it. So as I was saying, understanding sex hormones are not exclusively male or female, okay? Because both men and women produce estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, and other hormones, okay? But just in different amounts. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce what the DHEA stands for. Maybe I will a little bit later. But anyways, these are the hormones. So these hormones play critical roles, like I said, in various bodily functions regardless of gender. All right, so let's talk about them. So number one, let's talk about estrogen. It is the primary female sex hormone, and it's responsible for development and regulation of the female reproductive system, right? And secondary sexual characteristics. So what are the benefits of estrogen? Well, it regulates menstrual cycles, right? And if you're in menopause, then we don't have that. And actually, let me just do a side note here to explain how it is officially determined if you are actually in menopause. Okay, that means that you have not had a menstrual cycle for 12 consecutive months. Okay, so if you are still having a menstrual cycle and it's kind of like fluctuating. Sometimes you have it, it's irregular, then you're not in full-blown menopause yet. So medically speaking, the experts are saying that in order to designate that you are in full-blown menopause, that you have not had a menstrual cycle for 12 consecutive months. That's how they determine that. Now, if you're like me, I don't really know when that happened because I had an ablation. When was that? Gosh, I think it was back in 2014, I want to say, I'm not sure. But what that was, an ablation on my uterus personally. So I haven't had a period. Like they stopped because my gynecologist wanted to do this ablation on my uterus. And when you get an ablation, most women, it's common that if you get an ablation that you no longer will have a menstrual cycle. Ablation, they basically go in and they burn all the lining on the inside of the uterus. That's what they do. And honestly, right off the top of my head, I don't even remember the reason why my gynecologist wanted to do it at the time. Oh man, it's been so long, I just don't remember. But anyway, side note, I don't know when I officially, quote unquote, stopped having menstrual cycles, right? Because you're still having menstrual cycles. Your body's still going through those hormonal fluctuations and changes because I still have my ovaries. So I did kind of know when I was sort of going through the quote unquote cycles, even though I wasn't having a menstrual cycle. Okay, I couldn't tell you when I had been officially 12 months without it, but I can tell you in a little bit my story and how I started to determine that, yeah, we're in full-blown menopause. But anyways, let's get back to this. The estrogen hormone is what regulates menstrual cycles. It maintains bone density. It supports cardiovascular health, enhances mood and cognitive function, and it maintains skin elasticity and hydration. Okay, so what are the impacts when estrogen starts to decrease in our body, when our body starts to not produce as much estrogen? This is what we can expect. We can expect irregular or absent menstrual cycles, increased osteoporosis, so it's kind of like opposite of the list there of the benefits, right? Higher risk of cardiovascular disease, mood swings, anxiety, depression, vaginal dryness, and thinning of tissues. So thinning of tissues in the vaginal area and dryness. Look, there is no TMI here. I'm a nurse, okay? When you're a nurse, you talk about everything, and you already know this. If you've been listening to our podcast episode for any amount of time, you know I'm going to talk about everything. And also, ladies, we just need to talk about this stuff so we can just know, so we can just be open about it, learn about it. These are our bodies, right? You're not your body, but you are responsible for taking care of your body. I don't know why I do these little things I just like to say on the side. Okay, so those are the impacts whenever the estrogen in our bodies decreasing. So here is the importance of replacing hormone replacement therapy can help with the lack of estrogen or the decrease of estrogen, and that is it'll alleviate menopausal symptoms like hot flashes. It will like hot flashes, night sweats, and vaginal dryness, as I just spoke of. Also helps in maintaining bone density and reducing the risk of fractures. So, right, makes sense. We're maintaining bone density, so we're not going to have as likely to have this risk of fractures. Let me just say this also, because this has been a concern for a long time. I am not an expert, but I will tell you right now that I know, because I've talked to experts, and studies are showing that, there's a lot of women are afraid to go on hormone replacement therapy. One of the biggest fears is because there were studies years ago that were saying that hormone replacement therapy causes cancer. And so just want to get this out of the way. And what the studies, like I said, I'm not an expert, okay? So don't come at me. But it's really for those who maybe have a history of cancer in their family. It's not necessarily that you're going to. And also, there's a huge difference now. The hormone replacement therapy, there's been huge advances in hormone replacement therapy, where before they were using hormones that exogenous, which they were not bioidentical, which means bioidentical hormone replacement therapy means that when they're replacing the hormones, they're identical. So your body is going to use them identically as though it was produced by the body. Okay, so that's what they mean by bioidentical versus exogenous, which is hormones that are not. And I'm not going to get into all of the details, but I just want to say, if you're considering, and I'm going to get in this later, but if you're considering hormone replacement therapy, I want you to know this. If nothing else, there have been huge advancements in hormone replacement therapy. There have been huge advances, and we really need to get our facts straight and not be going off of old studies and what everybody's been just like hearsay. what everybody else is saying, okay? Find out for yourself, and always advocate for yourself when it comes to your body, your health, your fitness, and your hormones. Advocate for yourself, okay? All right, let me get on here. The next one we're going to talk about is progesterone. Okay, this hormone plays a key role in regulating the menstrual cycle and supporting early stages of pregnancy. The benefits of progesterone are it regulates menstrual cycles, also prepares the body for conception and pregnancy, supports early pregnancy, balances the effects of estrogen, balances the effects of estrogen. So that's what progesterone is. So you see progesterone works with estrogen. So what are the impacts of decreased progesterone? Irregular menstrual cycles, difficulty maintaining pregnancies, increased risk of endometrial hyperplasia, which is the thickening of the uterine lining, and increased symptoms of PMS and mood swings. Okay, so what is the importance of replacing your progesterone for the lack that your body is producing? What's the importance of doing it? What are the benefits of replacing progesterone? It helps in balancing your estrogen levels and reducing the risk of endometrial cancer. And this one's big, it can improve your sleep, and it can improve your mood and your overall well-being. Okay, you got that? So replacing progesterone, this is actually a big one. Okay, well, they're all big, but it can definitely help to improve your sleep, your mood, and your overall well-being. And remember, progesterone helps to balance estrogen. So this is important to understand that hormones work together. All right, the next one, moving on, testosterone. Description, let's go with this. It's associated with males, but it's also important in females for maintaining muscle mass, bone strength, and libido. Yes, it is important for that, right? So what are the benefits of the testosterone hormone? Supports muscle mass, like I just said, strength, maintains bone density, enhances libido and sexual satisfaction, improves mood and energy levels. Isn't that nice? They all improve mood. So what happens when we have a decrease in testosterone? When we have a decrease in testosterone, we have a decrease in muscle mass, and we have a decrease in strength, and we lower bone density, increased risk of osteoporosis, reduced libido and sexual satisfaction. Without testosterone, we're going to have a fatigue, depression, and decreased motivation. Huge. These are huge things. So what can happen if your body isn't producing optimal levels of testosterone? Replacing testosterone can help you in many ways. It can help you improve your muscle mass, improve your strength, enhance your libido, enhance sexual satisfaction. It can boost your mood, energy levels, and overall quality of life. I just want to say something here about this real quick about testosterone or replacing any of your hormones. Remember, this isn't what some people might think is like it's cheating if you're taking hormone replacement therapy. No, you're not cheating. How are you cheating when you're just replacing what your body is no longer producing? That's not cheating. That's just replacing the hormones that your body is no longer producing so that you can have optimal levels of hormone and function optimally and be healthy and have the benefits of what these hormones were meant for. We have so many advancements now in medicine that I find it fascinating, and just I think it's like, wow, what a day and age we live in to have options. Is it for everybody? It's not for everybody. It's for whoever wants to figure out what they need for themselves, and they have options. Hopefully you have options. All right, I'm going to go. So those were the three main ones, right? I talked about estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, and now I'm going to talk about this one, DHEA. Don't even make me pronounce that word. I'm going to try. I see this is a very long word. Okay. Don't give me this word in a spelling bee. Dihydroepiandrosterone. Look, let's just stick with DHEA, okay? What is it? It's a precursor hormone that can be converted into estrogen and testosterone produced by the adrenal glands, okay? What does that mean? It means it helps. It's a helper. Like I said, I'm always going to keep things just simple, all right? Look, just know that DHE is a precursor hormone. It's like it's a helper. It's a helper to these hormones. And like, what is a precursor? As a precursor hormone is a substance that the body can convert into other hormones. It acts like a building block in the production of various hormones. Okay, so that's what you need to know about that. Let's talk about, let's move on. I'm going to talk about this one, pregnenolone. This is also a precursor. It's involved in production of other steroid hormones, including estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and DHEA. And the benefits of pregnenolone supports cognitive function and memory, enhances mood, and reduces stress, promotes healthy sleep patterns, and it helps in the production of other hormones. I already just said that. So what happens if we don't have optimal levels of pregnenolone is cognitive decline, memory issues, increased stress and anxiety, sleep disturbances, hormonal imbalances due to insufficient precursor availability. And so how can it help us to replace pregnenolone? It can help by enhancing cognitive function. You know what I'm saying when I say cognitive function, right? How your brain processes and thinks and have clarity and focus. That's what I'm talking about when I say cognitive function. All right, memory helps in reducing stress and improving mood. It promotes better sleep and overall hormonal balance. Girl, isn't this like so cool? I mean, here's the gist. The gist is understanding the impact of what's happening when we have a decline in these sexual hormones in our body, especially as we're aging, right? Just to understand, you're not crazy. Nothing's wrong with you. These things happen because it's the natural progression of aging as women. But just having this knowledge, understanding it, then we can know and we can find ways to help manage it, to navigate our menopausal symptoms. All right. I also just wanted to touch on a couple of things, because if you go and get labs done, I know that just saying I got my labs done and my doctor says that my labs are great, everything's normal, all's good, it's so good, right? But here's the thing, and then you go home and you're like, but it doesn't feel like I'm normal. I feel like I've got problems. I feel like, why do I feel fatigued? Why am I having trouble sleeping? These things that I just talked about, because perhaps, possibly, maybe you didn't get these tests done. This happens so frequently, and this is the reason, this is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to talk about this today, is because just because your physician, your doctor, whoever it is that ordered your labs, just because they ordered your labs and you got these labs and they tell you it's all normal, that does not mean that they ordered all of the tests that include sexual hormones, that include hormones that do things that help your metabolism or actually function inside of your metabolism, how you process food and how you process energy in general, right? So I wanted to kind of touch on this one. If you do get testing done, you do want to get tests done on your insulin levels. So insulin is a hormone, and it's produced in the pancreas, and it regulates blood glucose levels. Okay, and so it helps the storage and the use of the glucose in your body. That's for energy, right? And so what it does is it regulates blood glucose levels. The insulin is a really big deal. I'm not going to get in. Like I said, I'm always going to try to just keep this simple. The point is that if you get labs done, you need to know these kind of things, and don't just say, oh, they said everything's normal. Okay, this is one of them. Because it's important that we have optimal levels of insulin so that we can manage and prevent and control diabetes. Okay, so that's one of the biggest reasons. It's going to help maintain healthy weight, reducing risk of cardiovascular disease, and again, it's just going to ensure and stable energy levels, and also better concentration. Look at my notes. Check that out. All right, so that's important. And if you do get a full-blown panel of labs taken, I mean, these are going to include everything. Full-blown labs are going to include these levels, also levels of hormones having to do with your cardiovascular system, having to do with your heart, having to do with your liver, and having to do with your thyroid. All of these things are, they are functions, these hormones function to help trigger and manage all of the things that your body does for you. The body is just so amazing, so amazing. So hopefully, so far, I went over all those things. Now I'm going to tell you kind of like my own. I want to give you my story. I want to give you my backstory of what's going on with me because, if you have been following me for any period of time, I've been happy to share my fitness journey, my fat loss phase transformation, all of that back in 2017 and 2018. And this is just like another phase of my personal health and fitness journey. And all the phases that I've gone through, that I'm going through, and empty nester stage, and when I was parenting the kids as they were growing up, I have thoroughly enjoyed sharing my journey because if there's anything that I'm learning along the way, I am happy to share what I'm learning. I know I've been told it's helping other people, and that's exactly why I'm sharing about hormones and about my own personal menopause journey. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the story. The story that I want to give you is also have some real exciting news. And I'm not going to let the whole cat out of the bag, but I have a lot of exciting news coming up. So here's the thing that I want to share having to do with my own journey as far as menopause. A couple of years ago, when I went to my gynecologist, they take labs and they have regularly taken these labs to where they would let me know. And it's interesting to me that, because I'm a nurse, I'm more, I'm going to ask more questions. I want to know more. I want the nitty gritty. I want the details, right? So it's funny because when your doctors, your nurses that take care of you, your gynecologists, your specialists, when they know that you have some level of medical knowledge, they are more inclined to give you more details and give you more information about your health and about your labs and what's going on. So thankfully they have, right? And so when I would get my labs drawn, they wouldn't draw all of the labs that were at least, because you don't have to get all of your labs drawn all of the time, right? I know there's a lot of biomarkers, but there's a lot of benefits to getting your labs, all of your labs drawn, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But in my case, they pick and choose because, right, there's a cost involved to getting your labs done, and I don't need to have all my labs drawn all the time. But when I went to my gynecologist, I'm expecting like the standard panel, including sex hormones, so that I can know, I was in my late 40s. What's going on with my hormones? Am I in perimenopause? Am I entering into menopause? These kind of things. So one of the things, I didn't get into the details of all of that. There's a lot of talk out there about hormones, especially these days on social media, all over the place. You're hearing about menopause. If you're in menopause this, menopause that, all the pauses. And it's great, right? It's creating awareness, but the awareness that we need to have is that it's going to be different for each and every one of us, all right? Your personal health, your fitness, your body, and your hormones are hereditary genetically, the way that you were created, developed, okay, is going to be very individual, and what is true for one person is not going to be true for somebody else. And this is why listening to all these things on social media and all over the place can be very confusing and scary. And what do I do? What you need to do is advocate for yourself and learn. Okay, so that's what I've been doing all along. I do this. I can't say I do it right. I'm learning, right? But anyway, they would tell me when my labs were done from the gynecologist, when I would go get my annual. And they were telling me a couple of years ago, they were like, your testosterone levels are really getting low. So we want to recommend that you, potentially, we just want you to know that if you want to replace your testosterone, that we can do that here in the office. And I didn't think anything of it, like, I didn't want to do that. You know why? Because I was feeling healthy. I was feeling strong. I was feeling energetic. Eating healthy most of the time. And, getting my strength training in. I'm looking in the mirror going, look at this healthy, fit, lean, strong, energetic, with lots of stamina, wild and crazy, late 40s, 50-year-old, whatever, you're young, and I don't need that. Thank you. No, thank you. I didn't want it. I didn't need it. I didn't even want to investigate anymore. I got enough on my mind. I'm doing great. Thank you. Goodbye. No, not to be mean, but seriously, I just did not think, I don't need to fix something that's not broken. I didn't feel broken, felt great. And what's interesting to me as a, coach for women is just all the things that I've observed and have learned. And it's, we can't just, as coaches, if you are a coach and you're listening, like, we can't just automatically assume that because women are not feeling a certain, what can I say? We can't assume that it's all having to do with hormones, and we can't assume that it's all having to do with our nutrition and our fitness. Everything affects everything, okay? So we have to look at the person, the client, the patient, as an individual. So myself as an individual, knowing myself and knowing my own personal, I was doing great. So I didn't put anything into that. Like, I'm not one to go looking for problems when I don't have a problem, when I don't sense a problem. That's not to say like I'm oblivious and like, what do they say? Oh my gosh, I'm not even gonna go there. But it was not that I was saying that I'm oblivious and I don't care. It's just that I'm very aware of my body and how I feel. In fact, so what happened? Let me just move on my story. So all things great, libido is great too. I'm going there, yes, because I think that's very important to have a healthy sex drive, sex life. If you have a partner, all that, I believe in that. I believe that's a part of being human and fulfilled in life. So I wasn't having any of those symptoms or concerns or anything until about, I want to say maybe 6 months ago or so. It could even be longer. I'm not really sure. It could have been longer than that. But, this last, so let me just say, what are the symptoms that now in retrospect, I think I was having? I was having difficulty. I just noticed that my sleep was being interrupted more frequently than it had in the past. In other words, I wasn't getting optimal sleep. I would wake up and have difficulty falling back asleep, and I was like, in my mind, I thought I was just experiencing stress, extra stress from work, maybe extra stress from life situations and family situations, but this was kind of going on, and I was like, I'm eating healthy, I'm exercising regularly, I'm getting to bed on time, I have a regular sleep-wake cycle, so something's not quite, I don't know. And so I started taking some supplements that were helping me with my sleep. I'm not going to go into that because that's not the point that I want to make, but I was taking some supplements, like over-the-counter stuff that had, it had some magnesium in there, it had some Relora in there, some things, and it was helping me. And I was like, oh, that I fixed that, right? In my mind, like I fixed that. So that was fine. And then, I think about maybe 6 or so months ago is when there were some more obvious things. Now, I was having night sweats like for the past year, but I did not associate those necessarily with menopause. But now in retrospect, apparently, that's just part of perimenopause too. So I was experiencing that. It wasn't like so bad that it was a problem. I thought that it was my metabolism being high, and I was like a furnace burning those calories at night. And that too, because I have a lot of muscle mass. And so I think it's probably a combination of all of that. But anyway, so night sweats, not anything to do with hot flashes, and I can honestly say I have not had any quote unquote hot flashes, like nothing that's happened like during the day, just like, you know, the night sweats. So there's that. Libido began to drop. I didn't really realize it until I realized it. We don't need to go into that. But hey, you know, it's just human, right? Nothing wrong with me, nothing wrong with you if that's what's going on with you. I keep coming back to this thing so that we don't feel shame about our bodies, or shame or guilt about how we're feeling physically, emotionally, sexually. It's just, this is our bodies, and being aware of our body and what to do and how to manage and how to navigate that. So I noticed that decline in my libido. So then I started noticing, this was recent, and you guys following me on social media, Rockstar members, my Rockstar sisters in RTF, y'all know, you know, then I started dealing with this unusual knee pain, especially in my left knee, without any kind of injury that I could recall. And I was like, what is happening here? So this last time, so these are some little, you know, things I'm noticing. And again, I'm 53 as of November. So this year in November, I'll be 54. So with all that said, this past year when I went to my gynecologist, and I'm not going to say any ugly and bad, mean things about this situation, but I will say I was not happy about the situation because I was asking a lot of questions having to do with hormones, especially hormone replacement therapy. And my gynecologist only wanted to provide one form of hormone therapy, and it was a pellet. And I know, you know, a lot of women, maybe they swear by it, it's working for them, and that's great. And you need to decide for you what's good for you, what's going to work for you. I think he also was offering like a cream for hormone replacement. But you know what? Here's the thing. Replacing what hormones? Okay, so I know that I don't have enough details. I'm not an expert, but I know that when they do a pellet, it's not just one type of hormone. I think there's a lot of different options when it comes to creams, pellets, whatever type of hormone replacement therapy. We need to know, what exactly are we replacing? Does your body need the replacement of the hormone? The only way to really know this truthfully, like factually, is through labs, to get your labs drawn and find out. But I know that, you know, my gynecologist just wanted to prescribe the pellet. And I was asking detailed questions about the testosterone and the dosing. So here's the other thing about that. If you're getting a pellet, and I'm not telling you don't do this, okay? Just please realize I'm not telling anybody what to do. I can only tell you my own experience and give you the information that I know, but please don't take my word for it. Go do your own research about all of this stuff having to do with hormones, okay? And don't get all wild and crazy on Google. And I'm gonna have some more things to say about this, but just get the information, get the facts, get the studies. Don't just go off of what I'm saying, and don't go off of what everybody else is saying. But here's the deal. I wanted to know, what's the dosage on the pellet? Because, you know, the answer I was getting was, well, we do follow-up labs to see how it's going. But, you know, bottom line is the pellet is not dosaging. It's not dosing your body in a regulated way. And you also don't know how well it's dosing your body. And perhaps you could feel great with a pellet for a month or two, and then later on, maybe it's not quite working for you like it was. Okay. Anyway, back to my own story. I can only tell you what I know, okay, because it's my story. And I wanted to know what type of testosterone was inside this pellet that my doctor was wanting to, recommending. And he didn't tell me. He says general testosterone, just general testosterone. But I'm like, no, because there's different types of testosterone. There's cypionate, propionate, and I still was not getting a straight answer. I left my appointment, my annual, and I got a call about my labs because I wanted to know how my labs were doing. I was excited because I'm like, oh good, I finally got my annual labs. At least I can know how are things really going, right? But guess what? This time, they didn't do my sex hormone labs. And I was highly, highly disappointed about this. And I haven't taken the time to tell them this, so I'll be honest right now, I probably need to. They just called me back and just told me that my labs were all normal, like the normal standard labs. My panel was normal. And I asked about the sex hormone. She said, let me go check and see if we did those. So I got a call back and they were not done. And I'm thinking, and I think we all need to be aware of this. When your doctor tells you your hormones, your labs are all normal, don't worry. I would want to pry a little bit more, dig a little deeper, and get some more facts on exactly what labs we're talking about, okay? Because a standard panel lab is just going to tell them basic stuff, and it's not going to tell them about your sex hormones, your thyroid, these kind of things, okay? So, with that said, I decided that it was time for me personally, and with the knowledge that I have, I just turned to get some help from an online provider, an online health group. I'm not going to mention them right now, but I will be telling you about them in the near future because I'm very excited about the potential here to help other women that have been dealing with the same things that I was dealing with. So here's what I found out. I went to this online healthcare provider. Specifically, they specialize in all of the labs and recommendations, treatments. They have a consultation, and it was a fantastic experience. Basically, I pretty much I put in my information, then I paid a certain amount, and yes, it's out of pocket, but for me, to me, my health was worth it. I wanted to do it. I know not everybody's able to do that. I understand. But since I am able to do it, I did it. They wanted to have a physical from my doctor. So I went and got a physical from my doctor. I paid this amount of money. They send the orders to a local, LabCorp. I went and got it was like 25 or 26 different tests done. Man, that was a lot of labs that they took. I mean, they took five vials of blood. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This is the most blood they've ever taken out of me for, blood draw. But I have learned so much. It was amazing. And I geek out about this, obviously, because I'm a nurse. But it was really cool. So all that, the labs, the results, all that stuff went to them. And then I got to have a consultation with a provider face-to-face on a Zoom call. And then they give you a full comprehensive document with everything having to do with my own personal labs and where I am deficient and where I am doing great, which by the way, I was so proud of my labs. They were like shining star labs for me in terms of like the standard labs. And they were even the provider was like pretty impressed with my labs. But you know what? That all goes to show that how I'm living my life, my lifestyle, it really is making a difference. So with all that said, I made a decision. I had a decision to make because my progesterone was low, my testosterone was very low. And it just made sense. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, no wonder I was having achy joints and libido dropping and, all of these things, even a little fogginess, lack of clarity. What else? Yeah, the sleep thing. So, okay. So I'm not going to, I think it's kind of going to be a little bit, I don't want to jump ahead, but I will say this. I had a decision to make. What was I going to do? And I learned a lot. So I'm not telling anybody that you need to do this, but again, the point that I want to make, in this episode together is that it's important to know where you stand in your body, in your labs. I started listening to, I like to listen to audiobooks. Especially when I'm out there running, which I can't wait to get back running again. I got a good ways into a book called Outlive by Peter DHEA. Great book. I love that book. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not an easy read. I'm sure I love this book because I'm a nurse and I'm geeking out about the body and anatomy and physiology. But there's no denying what's our life, what our lifestyle and our genetic disposition plays a huge role in our longevity and our health span, all of these things. And this book talks about that, and how we I might get into this in another podcast episode, but the point made, we have a lot more control over our health than we give ourselves credit for. We have a lot more, and even more today, because we can actually find out exactly what's happening inside of our body with understanding what, these biomarkers when we get our labs done. So I had a decision to make. Getting back to what I was saying, was I going to go on hormone replacement therapy or not? And to me, I was like, am I going to just keep on going I could, but I'm thinking, wow, I really, I'm straight up honest, going to tell you, I eat healthy. I'm hitting calories, macros. I eat optimally for energy, for protein, for, muscle maintenance, and I'm getting my training in, strength training regularly, my routine structured plan. I get my cardio in, I walk, I'm very active, and like I say, I'm getting plenty of sleep and all these kind of things, but yet I noticed these changes because, yes, my gynecologist did tell me, yes, your labs are showing that you really are full-blown menopause. But I didn't get the details and all that I really needed to know until I consulted with this online health provider, this group. So I had a decision to make. What did I do? What did Anna do? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I said yes because I wanted to replace what my body wasn't making anymore. And this is all real new right now. I'm going to tell you right now, this is all new. I don't have it all figured out. In fact, I haven't had my follow-up labs done yet, but, just like everything in my life and in my journey, I like to share as I go what's going on, so that I can just share, like honestly, openly, nothing to hide here. But I will tell you, so what I did is I did get started on progesterone, and I got started on a very low dose of testosterone, and it's they're injections, so it's dosed, and so I've already done, let's see, so I'm doing 2 days a week of injections of testosterone, a very low dose, just to replace what my body is no longer making. The same thing with the progesterone. So here's something really interesting. I don't need to get into all of the details of everything, but there's something else I'm doing too, having to do with my knee. But the thing is, they are going to prescribe the amount that you need for your body and, what you're not making, what you're not producing. So I started taking the progesterone, and here's what I noticed. And if you take progesterone, it's usually prescribed that you would take it in the evenings or at night because it can make you sleepy, right? Because it helps you with your sleep. Well, guess what happened? I started being even sleepier, and I was sleeping so hard when I started taking progesterone that the next morning I didn't want to get out of bed. I was so tired. And then I realized, well, you know what, Anna, you're still taking that supplement every night, which I did ask about. I said, should I continue with all of my regular supplements and vitamins? And they said, yeah, sure, go ahead. But as a nurse, I realized what was going on. I'm like, you know what? I don't need that anymore, because obviously, right, in retrospect, the reason why I was having difficulty with my sleep and getting optimal sleep is because my progesterone had dropped, right? So here's what I did. I stopped taking that supplement that I was taking to sleep with, and kind of leveled things out now. So just understand that your body, when you're doing things, whether you're in a calorie deficit or you're changing your diet, the way that you eat, or you're changing something to do with your supplements or medications, understand that it's always an ongoing trial and error learning. It's an experiment. And that's kind of what happened with me. So I did stop taking my little supplements that I was taking for sleeping at night, and that helped. But I was still feeling really tired in the morning, so I decided to start taking my progesterone just a little. And this is me. I'm a nurse, so I just decided to do this. I just started taking my progesterone supplement a little earlier in the evening rather than just before bedtime, and that has helped. So yeah, things are feeling great. I feel like I'm becoming like back to myself again. I feel like my selfie is coming back, and it's like, wow. It just makes me think to myself, like, as a person who lives a healthy, fit lifestyle, and me, just that little bit has helped me. And I realized it, I think, just being so aware of my body. What blows me away is that there are a lot of women out there, and it may be you, girl, it might be you, thinking that it's all hormones, but man, the way that we eat plays a huge role. Our nutrition impacts, our lack of sleep impacts how you're feeling, the fatigue, lack of energy, depression, anxiety, and yes, anxiety is a big one. And then on top of that, are you still drinking alcohol? Because alcohol, of course, I've had my fair share of alcohol, and I haven't had any alcohol in well over a year now. And there's a lot of different reasons. I might need to do an update. Tell me if you want me to do an updated episode about my story when it comes to alcohol, because, oh girl, I could talk for days on that. But it just wasn't doing anything for me, and I think for many of us, we don't realize that drinking alcohol really is like pouring out gasoline on this fire that we're experiencing with menopause. It's just awful, terrible for your sleep, terrible for your cognition, your thinking, your clarity, your brain. In so many ways. So yeah, so that, I don't drink alcohol, I'm eating healthy, I'm exercising regularly, I'm getting my sleep, I'm staying hydrated, I'm managing my stress, girl, like all these things that I'm doing that are right and healthy and good, and yet I was feeling this certain way. Wow, what? I cannot imagine what it must feel like for women who are not taking care of themselves just in the basics. And I'm not, it's no shame, no getting, not reprimanding anybody here. It's just more like, let's open our eyes. Let's be aware of what's going on. Okay. Just the data, just the facts. It's the facts, and it's not, it's like, wow, I want to say it's not your fault. It's just everywhere. It's the way that it's our culture of fast food, of eating out all of the time, of just constantly eating junk food, processed food on a regular basis. This lifestyle that so many women are sucked into with eating unhealthy like this and living stressed out all the time, overburdened with responsibilities, overburdened with working overtime in their careers, and not getting any time to themselves, and not getting optimal sleep, and not getting exercise, and all of these things. And then you add to it the decreased levels of these hormones, these sex hormones that play such vital roles in our longevity, in our health span, in our energy. Yeah. So anyways, I just wanted to share my story, and this is an ongoing story. I'll probably give you some updates on things, but I will say, I'm super excited. I don't even know if this could be a little premature to say, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. This group, this health group that I've been just so honored and privileged to work with, they are amazing, top notch. I am just blown away by the care, the professionalism, the timeliness of it all. It has been worth every penny. Oh, I didn't even mention about my knee, but I will tell you that. But here, while I'm talking about this, I thought, wow, you know what? This is amazing. I would be so honored if I was able to team up with them, like if they were an affiliate that I could promote in some kind of way, and I connected with them, and I kind of like reached out to them in this way, and they they are excited about the opportunity too. And they're like, you know what? Instead of just affiliate, what about a partnership? What? Woohoo! Letting the cat out of the bag, almost, not all the way, because I'm not gonna tell you all the details yet, because this is all in the works. I'm keeping it real. I'm also keeping it real about just how excited I am, because I know there are many of you that would love this resource and want the opportunity to do the same thing, and I cannot wait to share the good news. We're going to be moving ahead. I'm so excited. I'm going to first be sharing this with our members in our RTF. Ladies, Rockstars, you're going to be the first to know all about this. You're going to know. I'm going to tell you all about it, and I cannot wait. So anyway, getting back to my knee. One of the treatments that was prescribed, and I'm not going to get into the details of this because I don't know all the details either, but there's peptides that you can inject into an area that there's an injury for injury healing. It's to promote and expedite healing in an injured area. So this is what I've been doing, and it's not like injecting all the way into my knee. It's really just a subcutaneous injection with a tiny little needle of a little tiny bit, just like barely, barely very much at all, like 0.10 milliliters of this peptides, and it's going subcutaneous. What does that mean? Subcutaneous, just into the skin in the area, so that it can help with injury healing and expedite that healing in that area. So that's what I've been doing with my knee, and I think it's working. It's not. This isn't a guarantee, but I'm on day 5, so looking at potentially, I think, like 10 days, 14 days. I don't even know how many days it's like supposed to start feeling better, and I think it is. We'll see. I'm not really sure, but I'm also doing my PT, and I'm continuing other things. Like, I'm not running right now, but I am riding my bike more frequently, and I'm still continuing my strength training. I am not lifting as heavy when it comes to like my squats and lunges and hack squats and those kind of things, just because I'm trying to be careful and cautious with that knee. But I'm still lifting. It's just not as heavy as I typically do. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this. And just so you know, like, there's all types of treatments that this provider health group provides, and it's all science. It is factual science, evidence-based approach to all the things, and it's all based off of your personal labs. This is what I just love. And so they can treat you in whatever way. I don't know right now what their limits are, but I do know that when it comes to sex hormones, they are definitely up there, and this is one of their specialties, and I'm excited. And so, no, it doesn't mean that, like, oh, everybody has to go get injections. I know they have cream forms and those kind of things too, so it's not just that. I just prefer, I just wanted to do the injection because I want to manage the dosing. And I want to know that it's, it's on point. And I'm a nurse, so I don't mind. But what was really funny is that I did give myself my very own first injection ever when I did this. Like, I've never, until now, I have never given myself an injection. I mean, as a nurse, I've given injections, but not to myself. So, and it's not so bad. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. No. Very interesting. Very cool. So sometimes I think, I wonder if I shared too much. I don't know. I mean, then I think, well, what if I die today? I'm glad I shared. So I guess I didn't share too much, right? YOLO. And I really do hope that that this episode was helpful to you. I hope there were some nuggets in here that that gave you some insight and some thought. Again, I just want to encourage you to advocate for yourself. And here's the other thing I want to encourage you to do. Wherever you are on your health, your fitness journey, wherever you are, before running to get, this is what I did. This is what I would do before running to get hormone replacement therapy. If you feel like you need it, I mean, sure, go do that if you want to and you need to, but nothing's going to replace that. You still need to take care of your body with your nutrition. Nothing is ever going to replace eating healthy food, eating healthy, the vegetables, the fruits, getting optimal amounts of protein, eating whole grains, you know, complex carbohydrates, getting your fiber in, getting plenty of water to drink, getting optimal sleep at night, managing your stress, getting outside and having fun. You better have fun, okay? These things are just, they're required to live your healthiest, fittest, most fulfilled rock star life. They're required. Okay, so even if you do get hormone replacement therapy, whether you do or you don't, you have so much more control over your body than you think you do. Give yourself the power back to do these things, and you're going to feel so much better physically, emotionally, and mentally. You do that for yourself, girl, because nobody else can do that for you, and you deserve to give your body and your mind the best. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take care of yourself. I look forward to hearing, back it up. I do have one more thing I need to say. Totally forgot. Yes, this episode has been sponsored by Rock That Fitness, the best women's online fitness program for women ever. It's been a long time since I've said that. But for real, I want to say it's not too late to sign up for Rock That Fitness 6-week challenge. Yes, the wait list, by the time this episode drops, the wait list has closed, but we're going to be opening up registration, open registration to the public coming up in the next week. July the 22nd, we're going to open up to the public. So if you missed out on the wait list and early registration, it's not too late to join us. We've got women that are excited to do this, and I'm excited to do this. We've had so much great results and ongoing long-term results with our 6-week challenges that help women just for the long haul, like losing fat, getting stronger, building muscle, losing inches, and learning what it takes to make this a lifestyle and not just some quick fix, not just some, you know what I stand for here, okay? It's the long game. It's the slow burn. It's the simple, sustainable, okay, science, evidence-based approach to fat loss, evidence-based approach to getting stronger, building muscle, and living your best healthy, fit life, and your health span above all, right? And all of this matters in the grand scheme of it all. It all does. Everything affects everything, girl. So anyway, just wanted to invite you to Rock That Fitness 6-week challenge. It's not too late to sign up. Go to the show notes, click on the link, and we will see you inside of Rock That Fitness 6-week challenge, your summer's 6-week challenge that's going to change not just your body, but your mind and your life. All right, girl. Love you so much. Stay strong and rock on.